Hello, welcome back to the Benefits of Bipolar video series. Today I want to get into Bipolar II, which is what I have, and Hypomania. So refresher here, bipolar, characterized by massive swings, mood swings, going from mania to clinical depression. So bipolar 1 is characterized by undergoing a week or so of mania and often requires hospitalization. Bipolar 2 is more defined by the major depression with bouts of varying levels of hypomania in between and some stability as well, hopefully, if we can find it. So for me, obviously, living with bipolar 2, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about that, and what I want to get into today is hypomania. Um, the reason I want to get into it today and why I've kind of stayed away from it, well, I wrote about depression, so you can go back and read about that. It's something that I feel much more comfortable talking about and writing about, being depression. I've gone through it a lot. Most of my adult life has been characterized by depression. So because of that the times that looking back that I was experiencing hypomania felt like normal. So I'm going to get into that more, but just to give it, I was extremely confused by hypomania. The term hypomania. I mean I lived with diagnosed bipolar, and I think I had heard it a couple times, but I had no idea what it meant. I think I was asked if you've gone through it, and I was like, no idea, right? So now that I've actually gone through one major hypomanic swing, which I've referred to and talked about a little bit, and have seen kind of the red flags of it look like on a daily basis, weekly basis, if you will, now that I'm somewhat stable, quite stable, I guess, depending on your definition of it, living with bipolar, I kind of wanted to get into it. So I guess the question being, how do you not know that you've gone through it? Well, the bipolar 2 masked it for so long, and that being undiagnosed, like I referred to earlier, man, those freaking bouts of hypomania, I just thought I was doing great. If I'm being completely honest, I thought I was doing great. I was like, shit, I got this figured out. I don't have to worry anymore. I'm not going to drink anymore. I got this job. This is going well. Look at this. My girlfriend and I are having a great relationship for a month. Whatever. Those 2 weeks, month, 6 weeks, man, I just thought I was finally figuring it out, giving myself all sorts of credit, calling people, hey, Dad, I'm doing this. Guess what? Things are going well. Well, inevitably, out of nowhere and for absolutely no reason, crash, bang, forget about it. Fights with girlfriend, blacking out, blah, 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 even though I was probably doing that, but miserably blacking out, there's the difference. It just, it just always came out of nowhere, man, and it just bam. And so eventually, after time after time after time after time after time, you stop believing that 2 weeks or 3 weeks of feeling good, and you just know something bad is going to happen. So for 13 years, I just basically was like, ooh, I'm doing well, and then, but something shitty is going to happen, or I'm just going to feel like crap out of nowhere, and things are just going to go completely off the rails. And that's basically what happened. Over and over and over again until life just turned into more of one big, just long depression battle, culminating in my diagnosis. Now, gotta say, I'm quite terrified of the delightfully delicious demon beast they call hypomania. Why do I call it that? Because it's wonderful. I wonder when, like I said, my first palpable, tangible bout with hypomania last fall, and like in the past, I was unaware of it, and I just thought I had it figured out. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I thought I had bipolar by the proverbial balls. I thought I had it under control. I was doing super well. Look at all this energy I never had before. Now that I'm doing better, yada 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 yada. I mean, it just felt great. I had unending energy. I was waking up early in the morning. I was getting more things done at night. It just didn't matter, man. I could do it all. And once you're diagnosed, I guess it's probably natural to think that, yeah, I'm just fine now. This is just going to be the way it is. I have everything figured out. Well, as we now know, I couldn't have been more wrong. Again, you can read about the depression post that I wrote and what that's like. everything came crashing back down to earth. So I kind of say it like this. I felt like a hypomanic virgin. I was enjoying the ride. It was the first time and I was loving it. Now, going back, it's interesting. One of the first things that I figured out was like, oh, look at the credit card statements. Sure. So going back, I think it was like last March, it was 34. May was 46. June was 53. July, 101. These are transactions. I had 101 transactions in July, 3 a day. August, 110. September, 120. And then finally, once I got it figured out, and I think, whatever, I think I started 2 months early, but then it went down to 22. In the last 3 or 4 months, it hasn't gone above 25. Because I realized that part of what hypomania looks like is I have the money for this. I can do this. This sounds like a great idea. Let's go do this. I want to go out to eat. I want to go here. I want to redo my living room. I want to go take care of my nephews. I'm going to buy him this. I'm going to buy him that. I'm going to help my girlfriend get used to college and do this and that and buy this and blah, 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 blah. And next thing you know, you go through the crash. And the world stops. Just thud right in your face. And you got to pay for all that. The hard part is it was fun, right? Like, it allowed me to do things without drinking, with having this energy and hypomanic. Oh my God. I mean, I had the amount of energy and time that I had for people and to do things and to go places was incredible. It was amazing. Unfortunately, I can't really ever do that again. I can't really ever truly lean into enjoy that again. Because it's too dangerous, because of the crash that came, because I don't want to go through that level of depression again either. And so that's why I call it that demon, but that delightfully delicious one. As I said earlier, I would love to learn, and maybe I can, and I think I have tried a little bit how to try and harness the energy that comes from hypomania. But I'm also quite literally making myself stay in bed for 8 hours at minimum. And if I wake up for an hour in the middle of the night, that adds an extra hour. That actually takes away from what you're able to accomplish. So I'm trying to find that happy medium. It's not easy, obviously. I'm gonna say that. But it's a lot easier when you're not drinking. It's a lot easier when you work out, because for me, when I have all that energy, the only freaking way I have a chance of sleeping is if I can get all that energy out. Whether that's doing stuff like this, whether it's working out, whether it's ensuring that I work enough or spend enough time with somebody else, because all of that, I either got to do one of two things: completely wear out my body or completely wear out my mind, or both. So, I'm able to do some things to kind of limit it, but it's too bad because it was fun. So there's one last thing I kind of want to get into here, and that is how hypomania limited me in my belief from getting diagnosed. And I kind of referenced it earlier. In the past, hypomania just looked like I had things under control. I played a lot of basketball. I love basketball. I played 3 hours of basketball a day. Whether I was feeling great, feeling miserable, anywhere in between. When I was young, all I did was play basketball. I loved it. There were days and times and weeks, looking back though, where I was way better than I was the following week. Or my pretty good basketball average self. There were weeks where I felt like, and then therefore played like, one of the best. I mean, just unbelievably well. It was never sustainable though. And I think this is really interesting to me because it went into other things in my life. I mean, the same thing with job, like I said, relationships, with friends, with drinking. One other interesting tidbit that I'm starting to put together is I always drank. Feeling good, feeling bad, I always drank 3, 4, 5 nights a week there towards the end. The difference is some nights I'd black out after like 4 drinks. Gone. other nights I could keep up with the neighborhood drunk and watch him go home and then welcome the next one in the morning. I mean, I remember a night where I went out at 4 o'clock or something, drank through the night, stayed through bar close, and I remember it specifically and vividly because the Madison Ironman was going that day. And I'm watching people get out of the water having swam 2.5 miles, starting to run a marathon or whatever way it goes in, order it goes in. And I'm sipping an Irish coffee, smoking a cigarette outside the front door of this bar. So looking back, my guess is that's where my brain was. Those depression days, I got knocked out. Just couldn't remember anything, blacked out after a couple of drinks. Those times of hypomania, no wonder I could outdrink pretty much anybody. You know, I mean, and remembered it and was it's all in the brain. So, you know, that just goes, if you're watching this and you know, a family member is living with it or you're wondering or whatever else, just because or something to keep in mind if they're definitely living with it. Just because somebody's doing better doesn't mean they're cured. It's not curable. And if they're doing way too much better, way too much excitement, can't control it at all, their emotions, their spending, you know, it might be check in. Hey, how you feeling? How's it going? Do you have this money to spend? Is there a reason? Where's it? You know, just try and obviously be as warm and only if you know that you have their trust, because you don't want to, you know, kind of trigger things or get into a fight or whatever it is. I don't know your relationship, but I have an understanding with my girlfriend now. Before I go out and buy anything big, I give her a call. Or I'll call my parents, or I'll run it by somebody. And I usually, if I'm going to spend really anything over groceries or household items, I'm going to take a day, maybe 2 days, maybe a week. There's a hat like this one that I want that I've been waiting 6 months for because I can't talk myself into it being the right time yet. And the 6 months goes back to that last time I was hypomanic, because it was one more thing that I almost added to the cart in those 3 months. So, you know, it's something you got to be aware of. It's something, fortunately, I'm now aware of, that I'm learning more about, that I think is absolutely freaking hilarious, that I lived with this my entire adult life and I had no freaking clue what it was. But I got to enjoy it once, I guess. And, you know, that's what it's all about. It's all about living with this lifelong condition, which is what it is. It's going through these experiences. It's forgiving yourself for that. Hey, I didn't get ahead because I spent too much money, but I kind of make the joke. It's a bipolar tax. It is. It's a bipolar tax. There's a lot of taxes that come with it, but, you know, it's just one more thing you learn to live with. So, you know, if you are out there, if you are struggling, you know, with bipolar II, you know, try and find those patterns, you know, try and figure out when those moods are hitting, if there's a pattern to when they hit, how hard they hit. I mean, I think by sleeping 8 hours a day and by working out more consistently and eating even healthier and growing that foundation of that support team deeper and bigger, as you heard about last time, you know, it does minimalize, more so at least, the damaging effects that it can have living with bipolar, the damaging effects from hypomania, and then the crash, the inevitable depression that comes after that. And, you know, I found that over the last month or so, when I found, going up a little bit, I went down a little bit, I'm keeping it in that range. This is okay. The major ups to the major downs, those are what completely throw life into chaos and just do so much damage. So I'm sure I'll go through another hypomanic episode, you know, but with everything I just said, that awareness, that support team, you know, I can only hope for the best that, you know, once it does, frankly, rear its ugly head, which is what bipolars want to do. You know, I won't assume I'm in control, but I'll be able to maintain some control and maintain some stability. And really, that's my only goal. So thanks again for coming on the ride. Thanks for listening. And if you have any questions, please reach out in some way. I'd love to do some sort of question and answer. I'd love to do some more where I know I'm actually talking about something that people find either interesting or they have questions about or they want to know more about. So please reach out. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody. Have a great weekend.